And we are live. Hey, what is up, everyone? It's been a while, so I'm happy to be back. Hopefully you caught the John Hammond stream yesterday when I was able to interview him, but we are back to some more Active Directory hacking. Let me go ahead and get my volume set up right. Hold up, get the right tab open. I'm gonna turn the music down for me, but I'm gonna turn it up for you guys. There we go. All right, for those of you watching on stream, if you just want to let me know if anything sounds off, looks off, hopefully you can hear the music in the background and it's not overpowering my voice, but it gives a nice, cool vibe to it. What up, Amoeba Man? Good to see you again. Well, kind of see you. I guess see your username. I don't really see you, but it is good to have you here. Just checking out everything on Twitch. Hopefully I don't forget to share my screen as we go through this. We already got 6 people. Usually it's just like one person, like me and Amoeba Man, and sometimes Nate. So for all the rest of you joining, it is good to have you here. If you don't mind, if you do have a Twitch account, because I think you need a Twitch account to do this, but if you have a Twitch account, just drop a comment in the chat and say hi. I'm slowly learning how Twitch works, and the more people that chat, something happens or we get some achievement. I don't know what I'm talking about, but go ahead and post a comment and say hi. What up, JLR464? Good to have you. Let's go ahead and dive into things, shall we? I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Boom. And we are working through the final AD network on TryHackMe. It is the Persisting AD one, and just for context, let me show you guys a little bit. If this is brand new to you, first TryHackMe, check it out. If it is brand new to you, get a subscription. It is well worth the money. But if you go to learn and scroll down, we have networks here. And this is what I've worked through so far. We did all of breaching AD, did it on stream, did all of enumerating AD on stream, did all lateral movement on stream, did all exploiting AD on stream, and now we are finishing, hopefully tonight, persisting AD on stream. These rooms were created by the great Amoeba Man, who is also in our Twitch channel. So if you have any questions as you work through this, if you're doing it alongside of me, feel free to drop a comment in the chat, and he or I should be able to help you out. And when I get stuck, he will hopefully be able to help me out. Now, what I always say in the beginning, I don't just say it, it's true. I do not claim to be anything close to an expert. I am totally a noob at these things. And the reason I am doing this is because I want to learn. So if you want to watch me stumble through it, if you want to stumble through it together, it is totally okay. We will learn, we will Google stuff, we will work our way through this together. But just know, I am no expert. I'm just some dude with a microphone who figured out how a webcam works. So with that as my introduction, it totally hyped myself up. Let's dive into it. Persisting AD. Now, just for context, as you go through the different AD rooms, it's simulating a red team exercise against an Active Directory network. The final thing is persistence. Now that we have exploited it, now that we have gained access, how do we keep our access? How do we stop the blue team from shutting us out? And that's what Persisting AD teaches us. Gosh, if you haven't done this room, this has been fascinating. The things that we've done in these first 4 tasks. I don't know who's trying to reset the network. I just started it. The network's not broken. Learn how to configure your DNS file. And that is something that sometimes trips people up. Make sure if you're doing this for the first time in any of these rooms, read through the introduction slowly, because you do have to configure some specific DNS settings so you can communicate properly with this. But let's dig into it. I'm just turning my music down a little too loud for my ears while I talk. I like it nice in the background. All right. Persistence through SID history. One final note before we dive in. Many of you know this. I like to read this in its entirety. Our temptation is to rush through it, but the goal is to learn, right? And to learn, it's good to take time. Make sure you understand the material. So I read through it in its entirety. I encourage you to do it likewise, but even if you don't, I'm gonna do it for you. So the security identifiers have been discussed before, but for a recap, SIDs are used to track the security principal and the account's access when connecting to resources. There is, however, an interesting attribute in accounts called the SID history. The legitimate use of SID history is to enable access for an account to effectively be cloned to another. This becomes useful when an organization is busy performing AD migration, as it allows users to retain access to the original domain while they are being migrated to the new one. In the new domain, the user would have a new SID, but we can add the user's existing SID and the SID history, which will still allow them to access resources in the previous domain using their new account. While SID history is good for migrations, we as attackers can also abuse this feature for persistence. Cool. History can be whatever we want it to be. The thing is, SID history is not restricted to only including SIDs from other domains. With the right permissions, we can just add an SID of our current domain to the SID history of an account we control. Some interesting notes about this persistence technique. 1. We normally require domain admin privs or the equivalent thereof to perform this attack. 2. When the account creates a logon event, the SIDs associated with the account are added to the user's token, which then determines the privileges associated with the account. This includes group SIDs. We can take this attack a step further if we inject the enterprise admin SID, since this would elevate the account's privs to effective be. So I think I found a typo, Muta Man. I'm pretty sure it means to effectively be domain admin in all domains in the forest. Since the SIDs are added to the user's token, privileges would be respected even if the account is not a member of the actual group, making this a very sneaky method of persistence. We have all the permissions we need to compromise the entire domain, perhaps the entire forest, set it ablaze, but our account can simply be a normal user account with membership only to the domain users group. We can up the sneakiness to another level by always using this account to alter the SID history of another account, so the initial persistence vector is not as easily discovered and remedied. Cool. Forging history. So get an SSH session on THMDC using the administrator creds for this next part. Before we forge SID history, let's just first get some information. Okay, let's go ahead and try and get an SSH session. It's been like a week since I've done this. What's in this? Okay, that's right. So I just catted it there. Where are my admin creds? Is it admin? Okay, so SSH ZA, and then we're going to do administrator at what server did it want us to connect to? On the DC, the domain controller. Okay, which I think is just THM child DC right there. So let's do that. I think that works. Oh, maybe I have to actually do the IP. Told you guys I'm rusty from not doing this. 88.101. Will this work? It does. TryHackMe would not guess. 1. Boom. Okay, we got access. We are ZA administrator. Perfect. Okay. We got an SSH session done. Before we forge SID history, let's just first get some information regarding the SIDs. Firstly, let's make sure that our low privilege user does not currently have any information in their SID history. Oh, am I supposed to be a low privilege user? Oh, no. Okay. It says do it. All right. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to log in as my low privilege user first. Yeah, let's do another SSH session as my low privilege user just so we can follow along properly. No, it'd be persistence. Oh shoot, I don't remember the password. What did I call it? Creds? There we go. Oh, password 1. There we go. And let's go ahead and just do a side-by-side, even though it's going to mess up the formatting. That's the curse of streaming on Twitch while I do this. Okay, so we're going to see what we do. It looks like we're going to pull up PowerShell. EP bypass, we'll just start with that. And we're going to do get AD user, our AD account, which is grace.clark. And we want to do properties. Jeez, I can't type tonight, y'all. Oh, I did screwed up the syntax. Yeah, dash properties, duh. There we go. So let's glance at this output. Enable true, give a name Grace, shows us what we're a member of, just the basic groups it looks like. There's our SID, here's our SID history. Okay. This confirms our user does not currently have any SID history yet set. Ours does, why is that? Did somebody else already set this? Maybe someone has the same exact account. Let's get the SID of the domain admins groups, and this is the group we want to add to our SID history. So now we're doing this from our admin account. Amoeba Man said, "Why do you have history?" Dude, I have no idea. I have not I have not done this for a week. I don't know why there's history. And I'm using my Grace Clark account, which I just generated. So I'm using the account I generated when I first started this room. Yeah, isn't that crazy? I mean, I suppose it's possible that someone got the same user. But yeah, I'll generate myself new cred. So normally that wouldn't happen because there's, I don't remember how many accounts Amoeba Man said, like 6,000 accounts that it pulls from. But it may be that I just happened to get an account that somebody else already did this on. That's kind of crazy though. Gosh, I honestly don't even remember what the subnet was since I did it over a week ago. I had to rejoin the room and everything though, but I couldn't tell you what the subnet was previously. Let's just try to grab another one and see if we have, see if it works on that one. Let's see. Copy link. Said, yeah, if so, Grace might have been assigned to someone else in the specific subnet. Yeah, I bet that's what happened. I'm guessing it doesn't happen very often. Okay, did I exit out of Grace? No. Let's get out of Grace's account. We'll just add gedit creds.txt. And we're going to be Lorraine Gill. Oh, that password's way more difficult than Grace's password. Come on now. And all right. Get AD user Lorraine.Gill. It was properties. Whoops, my goodness. And what were the specific properties? You can press get creds until you get a bad password account. I suppose I could. That's fine. This makes it more realistic. SID history and member of. That's what we're looking for. Oh, I need to run PowerShell, obviously. Okay. That's what it's supposed to look like. No SID history set. So let's just rename these. This is our admin SSH, and we'll call this Lorraine. Okay, back to work. So we need to get the AD group of the domain admins. Perfect. Dude, that's just how good I am at Amoeba Man. I already exploited this without trying, dude. I'm just elite hacker. Oh, I say that and I forget to run PowerShell. There's our SID of the domain admins. Cool, cool. This confirms, oh, blah, blah. We could use, oh, there's a domain admins, yep. We could use something like Mimikatz to add SID history. However, the latest version of Mimikatz has a flaw that does not allow it to patch LSASS to update SID history. Hence, Thank you, Belittle Me. Hey, Belittle Me. Kevin, what's up, man? Good to have you hanging out with me after we just hung out for the past hour. Glad you weren't sick of me yet. Hence, we need to use something else. In this case, we will use DS internals tools to directly patch the ntds.dit file, the AD database where all the information is stored. An hour and a half. You're right. That you got grilled, my man. But you did a good job. All right. So what are we doing here? Let's go ahead and do side. Well, I don't really like doing side by side. So we're stopping that service. Force, which just means ignore errors, like stop it no matter what. So that's from our admin account, it looks like. Okay, that's cool. Wait for that to come back. Okay, so far so good. So we have to stop it because we're going to patch it directly. And then add SID history, SAM account name, username of our low privilege account, SID history. Okay. Okay, I see what we're doing. So let's go ahead and just copy that just so we get the syntax right. Let's make our command, whoops, in Notepad first, shall we? I'll zoom in for you guys. So add SID history, SAM account name. We're going to do the account name of our low-level account. And what is it? Lorraine Gill. What a weird name. Lorraine Gill. She sounds like a fish. I bet if she was a real person, she got made fun of in school for being a fish. Lorraine Gill, SID history, and then we're going to grab the SID for our domain admins. Database path, and that's just that database. Let's try that. Okay. So far, so good, y'all. The NTDS database is locked when the NTDS server is running, right? That's why we had to stop it. You must restart the NTDS. You must restart the NTDS service after the patch, otherwise authentication for the entire network will not work anymore. All right. That sounds good. So we should be able to change stop service to start service, basically. What was the, it's just start service dash name, right? I don't think you have to include dash name. Okay. After these steps have been performed, let's SSH. Okay, so I'm going to read Amoeba Man's comments for those of you maybe watching on YouTube. He said, just a note, as soon as you run that, you literally stop the entire AD auth service. So you're telling me I should go onto each network and just run that and quit, right? I'd probably get banned from TryHackMe. Not an issue if you do this in an org that has more than one DC. That makes sense, which most orgs should, I would hope. Okay. So now we're going to go into our low-level account, which we already have pulled up. And I bet we're going to rerun that command. And look at that. We have our SID history right there. So we're impersonating the domain admin user group with our low-level user. Based on the output above, that works. So we're going to go ahead and look at the DC, as you can see that. So all this command is doing, for those of you maybe new to this, is we're connecting from the jump box on our low-level user to the domain controller, and we're looking at C to see if we can see what's in there. And if we can, it'll work. If we didn't have access, it wouldn't work. So let's see if it works. Into the C drive. Oh, access is denied. I wonder if it takes some time for it to replicate my permissions. Because that is often what you will see if your account does not have permissions. Because if I do it like on here, it'll show it. We should be getting that same thing here. Maybe I should, sometimes there's a hint and I always forget to read the hint. Might need to create a new SSH session, Amoeba Man says. Okay, let's try that. Dang it, I don't remember her password. He said, since your current login does not have the SID applied, that makes sense. TQEQ 5262. Well, I guess I need PowerShell open for that. Look at that, it worked. So I just had to restart my SSH session. Pitchforks and torches from the blue team. If you were to RDP into one of the hosts and use the AD users and group snap-in, you would be able to view the SID history attribute added to your user. However, even with the highest possible privs, you would not be able to remove the attribute since it is protected. In order to remove this, you would have to use tools such as AD rsat PowerShell commandlets to remove SID history. And hey, belittle me if you're still watching here. One resource I'd recommend, if you've never been on TryHackMe, I know we talked about Active Directory. TryHackMe has an entire room that introduces you to Active Directory, and you actually work within Active Directory to get hands-on experience. So if you've never been on TryHackMe, check it out. Okay, cool. So if you don't have an account on TryHackMe, I believe this room is actually free. I'm just gonna find it real quick. Active Directory Basics right here. So if you go to TryHackMe, look for Active Directory Basics, it walks you through it and actually will teach you it, and then it has a hands-on lab even where you can configure some stuff. So check that out. You'll enjoy it. Okay. However, before you can even think about removing malicious SID history attributes, you first need to find them. None of the regular tools will tell you that something is wrong. That user will not all of a sudden pop up as a member of the domain admins group, so unless you're actively filtering through the attributes of your users, this is incredibly hard to find. This is because the SID history is only applied and used once the user authenticates. Imagine that you are the blue team dealing with an incident where you have just performed a domain takeback. You rotated the KRBTGT account, password twice, removed gold and silver tickets, rebuilt your entire CA server from scratch just to see the attacker is still performing DA command to the low privileges account. This would not be a great day. And Amoeba Man said we're doing a revamp of that AD Basics. Going to be really cool. Sweet. Good to know. Where was the AD? I'm still on the beginners portion. I'll find it for you real quick. I'll post the direct link in the Twitch chat. I don't know how it fits into the beginner stuff. All right. What AD attribute is normally used to specify SIDs from the object's previous domain to allow seamless migration to a new domain? My mind's just blanking on this. It's something obvious. Blah, blah, blah. Security identifiers is just what SID stands for. Oh, maybe not. Right, have been discussed before to track security principle when connecting to resources. Performing AD migration in the new domain, the user would have a new SID, but which will still allow them. I'm missing something. Oh, it's just SID history. I'm thinking SID. Yeah, SID history. Knew I was missing something obvious. What is the database file on the domain controller that stores all the AD information? That's the ntds.dit. What is the PowerShell command to restart the NTDS server after we inject our stuff? You just don't start it, right? Just leave it turned off. It's start process. Yeah, or start service, I should say. Persistence through group membership. Remember, attributes don't have spaces. Yeah, that's what threw me off when I first saw it. Okay. If we don't want to tamper with SID histories, we can just add ourselves directly to the AD groups for persistence, which I'd assume would be a little easier to catch. While SID history is a great persistence technique, credential rotation and cleanup can still remove our persistence. In certain cases, it may be better to perform persistence by targeting the AD groups themselves. Persistence through group membership. As discussed in task 1, the most... Yeah, I agree, Kevin, that was awesome. The most privileged account or group is not always the best to use for persistence. Privileged groups are monitored more closely for changes than others. Any group that classifies as a protected group, such as domain admins or enterprise admins, receive additional security scrutiny. So if we want to persist through group membership, we may need to get creative regarding the groups we add our own accounts to for persistence. The IT support group can be used to gain privileges such as force changing users' passwords, although in most cases we won't be able to reset the passwords of privileged users. Having the ability to reset even low privileged users can allow us to spread to workstations. Groups that provide local administrative rights are often not monitored as closely as protected groups. With local administrator rights to the correct host through group membership of a network support group, we may have good persistence that can be used to compromise the domain again. It is not always about direct privileges. Sometimes groups with indirect privileges, such as ownership over GPOs, can be just as good for persistence. Nested groups. In most organizations, there are a significant amount of recursive groups. A recursive group is a group that is a member of another group. We can think of this as group nesting. Group nesting is used to create a more organized structure in AD. Take the IT support group, for example. IT support is very generic, so perhaps there are subgroups like help desk, access card managers, and network managers underneath this group. We can add all these groups as members to the IT support group, which gives all users in these subgroups the permissions and privileges associated with the IT support group, but we can then assign more granular permissions and privileges for each of the subgroups. While group nesting helps to organize AD, it does reduce the visibility of effective access. Take our IT support example again. If we query AD for membership of the IT support group, it would respond with a count of 3. However, this count is not really true since it is 3 groups. To get an idea for effective access, we would now have to enumerate those subgroups as well, but those subgroups can also have subgroups. Inception. So the question becomes, how many layers deep should we enumerate to get the real effective access number? Well, this also becomes a monitoring problem. Let's say, for instance, we have an alert that fires off when a new member is added to the domain admins group. That is a good alert to have, but it won't fire off if a user is added to a subgroup within the domain admins group. This is a very common problem since AD is managed by the AD team and alerting and monitoring are managed by the InfoSec team. All we need is a little bit of miscommunication, which happens all the time in orgs, and the alert is no longer valid since subgroups are used. As an attacker, we can leverage this reduced visibility to perform persistence. Instead of targeting the privileged groups that would provide us with access to the environment, we focus our attention on the subgroups instead. That makes sense. Rather than adding ourselves to a privileged group, which is what I first thought of when I saw that, I was like, well, that's going to get caught. That would raise an alert. We add ourselves to a subgroup that is not being monitored. Nesting our persistence. Let's simulate this type of persistence. In order to allow other users also to perform the technique, make sure to prepend your username to all the groups that you create. All right. In order to simulate the persistence, we will create some of our own groups. Let's start by creating a new base group that we will hide in the people IT organizational unit. Okay. Let's copy this and let's work our way through it. We'll do this for my admin account. So we're doing new AD group. We're specifying the path of our AD group. OU's ID, people. We got a domain controller. So we're nesting inside of people. Name, this is going to be our username. I don't remember. Lorraine Gill the fish. Right? Lorraine Gill the fish. Got it. Lorraine with the double R too. Lorraine Gill the fish. We got her down. Net group 1. Sam account name. Lorraine.Gill. So we're appending our username to the front just so other users can use this. Display name. Lorraine Gill the fish. Group scope, global, group category, security. Okay. So we're nesting this group under the people OU. Right? And the people IT OU. Okay. Makes sense. Let's see if it works or if I type something wrong, which is a very real possibility. You can use HackSmarter if you want, just need something unique. Gotcha. Let's now create another group in the people sales OU and add our previous group as a member. Okay. Let's copy this command. New AD group, we have the path again. So we have our OU sales, people. So we're nesting ourselves in here. Here's our name. Put our username here. Net group 2, Sam account name. And we could call this one. So this is Nest group 2. We'll take the advice and call this one HackSmarter. Nest group 2. Display name. We can still call this HackSmarter, right? Nest group 2, group scope, global, group category, security, PS. Oh, wait, I copied. This is a separate command. And in the separate command, we're doing add group member identity, username, HackSmarter, Nest group 2, members, and this is our first group that we made. So for that one, we did Lorraine Gill the fish. Okay, let's see if this works. Well, didn't throw any errors, so I'm assuming it worked, right? We can do this a couple more times, every time adding the previous group as a member. Wow. Let's do it. So this is just the same command, right? So if I copy this out. So I'm going to screw mine up now that I have a few different names for my groups. Should really be using like Notepad++. All right, let's glance at this. New AD group path. So we're doing consulting and people here. Our name. Net group 3, Sam account name. Oh, wait. Yeah. Wait, where am I assigning? Oh, wait, we're nesting groups. Okay, okay. We'll just get all these commands right, and then we'll copy and paste them all in. And this is Nest Group 2, which we named HackSmarter. So we'll just make them all HackSmarter. Now it's just going to repeat itself, right? Now we're just hiding in here some more. We're going to name them all HackSmarter. If I was using Notepad++, I could just replace all these. Maybe well, we don't screw it up. You guys can just watch me type it. Better for learning, I suppose. This is good music. I don't know if you guys can hear it very good, but it's good. It's called like Mr. Robot hacking music or something. I like it. Oh. Almost done, y'all. All right. I feel like we're just like a a rodent, yo, like hiding in the organization, or a cockroach, just nesting ourselves in it, right? Think about like how a cockroach does that, or a termite, right? The way a termite nests itself into someone's house, into all the wood. You can't get them out, because to get them out, you got to tear apart your entire house. That's essentially what we're doing with Active Directory as we do this. All right. With the last group, let's now add that group to the domain admins group. I see. So let's grab this. Lastly, let's add our low privilege AD user to the first group we created. And you see that group is so dang nested down there. It's going to be, we have become the termite, the Active Directory termite. Whoops, Lorraine Gill, the fish. Whoops, wrong window. Instantly, your low privilege user should now have privileged access to THMDC. Let's verify this by using our SSH terminal on THM work 1. Wonder if I have to reset up. I already have it because I never removed my SID for my low privilege user. So I would have access no matter what, right? So I'm going to read what Amoeba Man just said in Twitch. So while we don't do this on actual assessments, it is very destructive, right? You're a termite. If you do this within org's actual groups, you are effectively ruining their entire AD structure, and chances are they don't even remember how the full structure should have looked like. So yeah, rebuild might be the way they go. So I'm going to change my hacker handle from Tyler Ramsbey to the termite. That's what you're doing, right? You're eating at their AD structure until it falls apart. Someone's going to steal that. They're going to be the next great hacker. End up in prison or something. If I look at like... You guys can see that right there. So there's my Lorraine Gill Nest group that we're a member of. That doesn't look like a... You know, that could be anything. That's not something that's going to be picked up because we nested it in so many different layers there. And then of course we have access. I mean, I never cleared my SID value, but we would have had access either way. Let's also verify that even though we created multiple groups, the domain admins group only has one new member. Let's do that. So we can see other people who made this, right? So we have administrator, we have Matthew Williams, Alice Gibson, we have Am0. Is that Amoeba Man? Grace Clark. Yeah, so someone did take over Grace Clark before I did. Sylvia Robinson. And there's our Hack Smarter group. So once again, not even close to as obvious, and it's so dang nested in there. And knowing more than just the blue team. If this is a real organization, we would not be creating new groups and nests. Instead, we would make use of the existing groups to perform nesting. However, this is something you would never do, like Amoeba was saying, on a normal red team assessment, and almost always dechain at this point, since it breaks the org's AD structure. And if we sufficiently break it, they would not be able to recover. At this point, even if the blue team was able to kick us out, the org would more than likely still have to rebuild their entire AD structure from scratch. Like, I'm just thinking of my own role and how much havoc that would wreak on an organization, resulting in significant damages. What is the term used to describe AD groups that are members of other AD groups? I keep using the word nesting. Nested groups, recursive groups. What's the right word for these? Did I just spell nested groups wrong? Or is there a different word? N-E-S-T. Okay, yep, that's not the right answer. Hide, let's create another group. Recursive groups? No, that's too big. Recursive group is a group that's a member of another group. We can think of this as group nesting. Maybe that's what we're looking for. Yep. Perfect. Amoeba Man said he couldn't remember what the answer is. Dude, look at this. I finally made it. This is the second time I got a bot on my channel telling me to buy followers. How do I kick them? I don't even know. Ban. I banned him. Oh. Okay. Guy got banned. Kevin Dav. Alright, what is a command to add a new member, THM test, to the AD group, THM group? Add AD group member. Okay, so it's add AD group member, and I think it's the group name next. Yeah, identity. So that's gonna be the group name. And then is it name or something? Members. That's how we add them. There we go. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break. We've been doing this for about an hour straight. Let's take a short 5-minute break and we'll dive right back into it. So guys, I will be back in exactly 5 minutes. Oh, shoot. I didn't realize the timer hit 0. Sorry, y'all. I was extending the network so I wouldn't run out of network time, but we got it extended. Let's keep going. Sometimes we need more than just persisting to normal AD groups. What if we want to persist to all protected groups simultaneously? Persisting through AD group templates. While we can just add an account with control to every single privileged group we can find, the blue team would still be able to perform cleanup and remove our membership. In order to ensure a bit better persistence and make the blue team scratch their heads, we should rather inject into the templates that generate the default groups. By injecting into these templates, even if they remove our membership, we just need to wait until the template refreshes and we will once again be granted membership. Genius. One such template is the AdminSDHolder container. This container exists in every AD group. Whoa, that music just got loud. 1 second. This container exists in every AD domain, and its access control list, or ACL, is used as a template to copy permissions to all protected groups. Protected groups include privileged groups such as domain admins, administrators, enterprise admins, and schema admins. If you're looking for the full list of groups, you can find them here. Check that out later. And Amoeba Man said, this is my all-time favorite persistence method, drives the blue team crazy. Well, let's do it. A process called SD-prop takes the ACL of the AdminSDHolder container and applies it to all protected groups every 60 minutes. We can thus write an ACE that will grant us full permission on all protected groups. If the blue team is not aware this type of persistence is being used, it will be quite frustrating. Every time they remove the inappropriate permissions on that protected object or group, it reappears within the hour. Since its reconstruction occurs through normal AD processes, it would also not show any alert to the blue team, making it harder to pinpoint the source of the persistence. Persisting with AdminSDHolder. In order to deploy our persistence to the AdminSDHolder, we will use Microsoft Management Console. To avoid kicking users out of their RDP session, it will be best to RDP into THM-Work1 using your low privilege creds, using the run as command to inject the administrator creds, and then execute MMC from this new terminal. Alright, well, let's go ahead and do that real quick. I'm not able to remember. Oh, crud. I'm getting tired, but I can't be tired. We got to finish this room. Here's our password. Let's go ahead. Whoops. Let's go ahead and copy that. Okay. Let's open up Remina. We are deploying to THM-Work1, which is going to be 248. Yes. Lorraine Gill the fish. We copied her password. Okay. Success. Full screen mode. Whoops, I think I need to hit a different dynamic resolution. There we go. Okay. What do we got to do? Oh, that's right. We need to do our run as command. If you didn't know about that, I think it explained it more in exploiting AD or lateral movement. I don't remember. One of those. If you go through the rooms, you'll use that command a few times. And also in throwback. You use it in throwback as well. Oh, do I have to actually type it? Making me remember syntax. What? Run as net only, so over the network only, user administrator, command.exe, then we'll be prompted for creds. Yes, terrible memory. What? Net only and then administrator? User administrator. And the password is, I don't remember. Let's go here. TryHackMe would not guess one. Is it gonna let me copy and paste? You guys think it will? Oh, it is gonna let me copy and paste. Well, we can remember that. TryHackMe would not guess one. Now, there's another command you can run to verify creds, but the other thing that you could do, I'm thinking, oh, we don't want to go through all those, whoops. We could just dir this as well, right? Because we're running as admin, it should work. Whoops. Oh well, it worked. So there's another command you can run to make sure creds go through, but you could also, since we're doing it as admin, is see if you can pull that down. I guess it would I mean, we added our one group to the admin thing. So anyways, I'm pretty sure we have it right. Let's keep moving. Once you have an MMC window, add the users and groups. Okay. So just that. And we have to do action. No, it's file. Remove snap in. Is it users and groups? It's a group. Am I blind? Yeah, I'm looking for the wrong thing. Users and groups snap in. Active Directory. Oh, Active Directory users and groups. Of course, that's why I am blind. There it is. Add that as our snap in. Now. Oh, we have to connect to the right site. Oh, let's go add. Move snap in. Do you have to go to advance? No. Make sure to enable advanced features, view advanced features. I think I did something wrong. So I can't even see the domain. You have to connect to the domain. I shouldn't have to type in the domain, should I? Oh, okay. That seemed to work. Whoops. So let's go to view. Advanced features. There we go. So far, so good. I'm going to pull this over here. I have a message on Discord. Last time I had a message, y'all, it was someone telling me Twitch was messed up, but that was not what that was. So far, so good. Once you have the MC window, add the, okay, we did that. We can find the AdminSD group under domain system. Let's see if we can find that. Under which? Where am I looking? Oh, system. Under the, oh, that domain and then system. Duh. Okay. There it is. Navigate to the security of the group. Okay. Let's add our low privilege user and grant full control. Yep, got it. Maybe. There we go. Let's see who else has been added to this. There's that Grace Clark account that someone beat me to. All right. Let's add Lorraine Gill the Fish. Oh, maybe it didn't work. I must have typed the wrong password when I was doing the run as command, or else I don't think it would be asking me for this. How do I mess that up? How do I mess up TryHackMe would not guess one @ sign? Oh well. Takes a special talent to mess that up, y'all. Oh, and see, it didn't even type it right. Is that what it is? Yeah, it looks right to me. So I don't think you normally have to do that, but name not found. Oh, I have a comma there. I don't know if you guys caught that. There's Lorraine Gill. There's our nested group. A couple of our, got net group 1. There's our Hack Smarter group that we made. Okay, so Lorraine Gill, and let's give Lorraine Gill full control. All right, allow on full control, click apply, click OK. Yep. It should look something like this. Yep, and ours did. SD prop. Now we just need to wait 60 minutes. That's a long time to wait. Our user will have full control over all protected groups. This is because the security descriptor propagator, so that's what SD prop stands for, security description propagator, service automatically executes every 60 minutes and will propagate this change to all protected groups. However, since we do not like to wait, let's kick off the process manually using PowerShell. In the C tools directory, invoke ASDDB propagation is provided. Okay, so I'm guessing we have to do that from our admin account. Oh, but it's on the jump box though. And we have an RDP session. I guess we can do it through our RDP session. Maybe it's on the admin account. Let's check the admin account. Should be on the DC as well, he says. Okay, cool. Yep, there it is. Once done, give it a minute and then review the security permissions of a protected group such as the domain admins group. You can use the search command to find this group. So if we review security permissions for the domain admin group, we could even check our, like, we can net user our user, right? You need to import module and execute. Oh, do I? Is it like that? I'd have to look that up. One would think I would know that. No, run the script. Oh, gotcha. I did run the script. Not run the script. Common issue with PS1 scripts. Oh, I gotcha. I gotcha. Import module. Yeah, that's what I was thinking for syntax. So you're telling me like that? Oh yeah, it says it right there, and then run it, and then type in. I gotcha. Like that. Yeah. You know, I was just saying how you should read closely, and I skimmed through that, and of course I I screwed it up as a result. Oh man. Let's give it a minute. spelled the fish's name wrong. I bet it would eventually say we're in a domain admins group and a bunch of other privileged groups. We'll give it some time. Let's glance back at TryHackMe, see what's coming up. We could also review it on our RDP account, I suppose. She won't have any new groups. Let me scroll up because I must be misunderstanding. We're in the AdminSDHolder, which updates AD group templates. Oh, I see. The access control list, and we gave full permissions there. I see. So once done, give it a minute, review the security permissions of, okay, it's in the security. That's why the technique is so sneaky. I gotcha. You get the ace to change the permissions of those groups. I gotcha. Thank you. Give it a minute and then review the security permissions of a protected group, such as a domain admins group. Okay, so let's go back to here. Come on, Windows. I think we can search for it like this. If we look at properties here, and if we go to security, let's glance through this. There's Lorraine Gill right there. I'm trying to think of what other. So like enterprise admins, could we look at that? Well, any ZA, any like cert publishers. Is our domain admins. Lorraine Gill. That's cool. So that's interesting. So she's added to it, right? But that's what, like Amoeba Man said, that's what makes it hard for the blue team, because you can't actually find the gillfish person there. So with this, you don't yet have DA, domain admin, but with full control of a DA group, you can add whatever account you want to the DA or other protected user groups. Try the account operators group. Okay, let's look up the account operators group. There they are, Lorraine Gill the fish. Breathing underwater, breathing in these different groups. What a termite. Gosh, that's so neat. As can be seen, our low privileged user has full control over the group. You can verify this will continue to propagate by removing your user from the security permission and rerunning the PowerShell thing. Your user will be added again. Interestingly, although we have permissions to modify the group, it does not automatically add us to the group. Yeah. However, yeah, so you can delete that security entry. 60 minutes later, it's back again because it's propagating through that template. Right now, if we go back to here, and we gave it some time, it would repropagate to that group. But using our new permissions, we can add ourselves to this group. We can add ourselves to the domain admin group. All right. Don't know if we have to refresh it at all. They're on Gill. You guys saw me delete it. Keep me honest. So now if we look up domain admins, Lorraine Gill the fish. Can I use my Lorraine Gill account here? I don't know if that would work or not. Then use EA. Like that. I don't remember Lorraine's password. I don't know if this will work either. Yeah, so see, I use Lorraine Gill's permissions to add Lorraine Gill to the domain admins group. Just verify. So if you look at properties, go to members, and our low-level account has now permission to modify every security group and is now a member of the domain admins group. Of course, that's not as sneaky because that'll be obvious, but like, go ahead and remove it, right? And Lorraine Gill can re-add herself. Lorraine Gill the fish can re-add herself to the domain admins group, right? Delete her again. She can keep re-adding her. Of course, to further hide your SD account, you would not add that account as a member. Yeah, but rather a different account. Sure, that makes sense. And then any account that they delete, right, you have full access, so you can just re-add it again. It's going downhill for the blue team. Imagine combining this with the nesting groups of the previous task. Just as the blue team finished revoking your access through numerous group changes, 60 minutes later, you just do it all again, unless the blue team understands that the permissions are being altered to the AdminSDHolder group, which I'd have no idea, at least not till now. They would be scratching their heads every 60 minutes. Since the persistence propagates through a legitimate AD service, they would most likely be none the wiser every time it happens. If you really want to persist, you can grant full control to the domain users group and the AdminSDHolder group, which means any low-privilege user would be granted full control over all protected groups. Combining this with a full DC sync means the blue team will have to reset every single credential in the domain to flush this out completely. Which AD groups ACLs are used as a template for ACLs of all protected groups? That is this. It's modified by the, oh, it is the AdminSDHolder. It's modified by that other thing, right? Which AD service updates the ACLs? That's the SD prop. Which ACL permission allows a user to perform any action on the AD object? Is it just full control? Is that what it's looking for? Yep. Persistence through GPOs. We're almost done, y'all, and it's about my bedtime, but we're going to work our way through this room. The last persistence technique we'll review is persistence through GPOs. At this point, you should be familiar with GPOs based on all the different enumerations, attack, and exploitation techniques we have discussed. However, GPOs are also excellent for deploying persistence. Group policy management in AD provides a central mechanism to manage the local policy config of all domain joined machines. This includes configurations such as membership to restricted groups, firewall and AV configuration, and which scripts should be executed upon startup. While this is an excellent tool for management, it can be targeted by attackers to deploy persistence across the entire estate. What is even worse is that the attacker can often hide the GPO in such a way that it becomes almost impossible to remove it. Lots of talking. The following are some common GPO persistent techniques. Restricted group membership. This could allow us administrative access to all hosts in the domain. And logon script deployment. This will ensure that we get a shell callback every time a user authenticates to a host in the domain. There are many different hooks that can be deployed. You can play around with GPOs to learn about other hooks. Since we already used the first hook, restricted group membership, in the exploiting AD room, let's now focus on the second hook. While having access to all hosts are nice, it can be even better. Did my music turn off? Let me get my music started back up, y'all. Sure, we get access to them when administrators are actively working on them. To do this, we will create a GPO that is linked to the admin's OU, which will allow us to get a shell on a host every time one of them authenticates to a host. Very cool. Before we can create the GPO, we first need to create our shell, listener, and the actual bat file that will execute our shell. turn music down a little bit. Let's start by generating a basic executable shell that we can use. So if we walk through this, let's, well, we might need RDP access still. Okay, so you should be familiar with this by now if you've been doing all these different rooms. MSF Venom, we're generating -p a payload. We're specifying a x64 architecture, a reverse TCP. Our L host is going to be Persist AD, and the reason it's Persist AD is if you do IPA, you'll see that our Persist AD right there is our IP. So you could also just do this IP. This is the IP you get by connecting to the VPN. So Persist AD is fine. L port can be anything you want it to be. We'll change ours to 1337 because we're elite hackers. -F is the file type. .exe. I thought we were making it. Let's see. Okay, we're going to create a .bat file that reaches out to our script. Very cool. .exe. And then it's just, what do you want to call the shell? It doesn't have to be a username, obviously. It just has to be unique. So let's hacksmarter 1337 shell.exe. That should work. Give it a second while that does its thing. Make sure to add your username to the binary name to avoid overriding the shells of other users. Windows allows us to execute batch or PowerShell scripts to the login GPO, and I believe the logon GPO executes as with user permission, so whoever the logged in user is. Batch scripts are often more stable than PowerShell scripts, so let's create one that will copy our executable to the host and execute it once a user authenticates. Create the following script called username_script.batch on the attack box. Okay, and we'll walk through that on our box. Wait, what was I supposed to call it? We'll call it Hack Smarter Script. Okay. So, if I can make this font a little bit bigger for you guys. Font. Okay, apparently. There. Can I increase this? No? Sorry guys, I apparently can't do that. So what are we doing? We're gonna copy zia.tryhackme lock sysvol scripts. Okay, so that's where we're gonna place our script. Which, what do we call it? Hack Smarter. Is that what we called it? Hacksmarter 1337_shell.exe. Hacksmarter 1337_shell. Yep. So we're gonna copy it from there. We're gonna put it under temp. We call it our same thing. You could technically call it something else here, I believe. And timeout 20. So we're setting a timeout for time 20 seconds. And copy, or not copy, but C. So we're going back to that same script. I think I created that, right? Oh yeah, I was just blind for a second there. You will see the script executes 3 commands chained together with AND. The script will copy the binary from the sysvol right there directory to the local machine, then wait 20 seconds before finally executing the binary. We can use SCP and our administrator creds to copy both scripts to the sysvol directory. Oh, he even gave us the SCP syntax You're allowing me to cheat though, Amoeba Man. You offer the syntax to everyone. We can use SCP in our administrator creds to copy both scripts to the sysvol directory. So let's just see if we can understand this. We're gonna do SCP. Here's Amoeba Man shell. We're gonna be HackSmarter 1337. ZA, that's the domain administrator at THMDC, you know, the domain controller. And then here, okay, so then we're ending that there. And here's the path that we're sending it to. And then we're sending the bat file as well. It says I was nice with this once. It's such a long path. Thank you, because it's like midnight where I'm at, and we'd be up till 1 just getting me to get SCP to work properly. Just kidding. I think I actually have it down, or I'm close to having it down. We need to update some of our stuff though here real quick. Just our shell file. Oh, I don't remember the password. Something about TryHackMe will never guess or something. TryHackMe would not guess one. Okay, similar command, but we're going to be doing our bat file, which I think we just called HackSmarter script.bat for batch. Is that what we called it? Oh, I typed it wrong. Nope, obviously that's not what it's called. HackSmarter script.bat, that's what it is. Okay, got it. No, 1337. Okay. So far, so good. So we put those both in that sysvol directory. Finally, let's start our MSF listener. So I'll explain the syntax a little bit, at least to the best of my ability. MSF console-d-q-x allows you to not wait for Metasploit to open. Otherwise, if you use MSF console, you could do that. Wait for it to load, then use exploit. So it's just speeding it up a little bit. And so then we're using exploit multi-handler. We're setting our payload. Now this payload matches the payload that we created with MSF Venom to match the architecture and reverse TCP. We're setting our L host to persist AD. We're setting our L port to whatever you set it to in your payload, and then exploit. So using MSF Venom or MSF console, you'd set all this in the end. You do exploit. We're just doing it as a one-liner to set up our listener. What will this call it? We'll just call it shell. And with our prep now complete, we can finally create the GPO that will execute it. You'll need a RDP into THMWork1 and use run as window as the administrator for the next steps. Well, we are RDP'd into it, and our user is a domain admin now. We can also use the administrator creds. The first step uses our domain admin account to open the group policy management snap-in. So we need to add the group policy management snap-in, I believe. See the GPO manager, and we do, while we can technically read our contents to the default domain policy, we should propagate to all AD objects. We'll take a more narrow approach for the task. just to show the process. You can play around afterwards to apply the changes to the entire domain. I would if it wasn't midnight. We will write a GPO that will be applied to all admins. So right click on the admins OU, select create GPO, and link it here. Give your GPO a name. Okay, so right click on admin, select create a GPO in this domain. We can do that. Create a GPO in this domain and link it here. I don't think we do a source starter GPO, I'm pretty sure. Yep, like here, give a GPO name, which we do. Oh, maybe I do have to do the run as administrator, since I got access is denied. No. TryHackMe would not guess one, right? That's the password. Will it allow me to paste it into this prompt? I don't know if it came through or not. Let me have a man. Oh, just run MMC normally. I can just do that. Okay. I think your run as Windows a bit borked. Okay, let's just do it normally then. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking my low privileged account had domain admin access. I mean, I literally added myself to it, so that's why I was assuming that would work. But we'll just start this process over real quick. Whoops, did I not hit add or something? Sorry guys, it's getting late for me. My brain isn't fully working here. So we clicked enforce because this will ensure your policy will apply even if there's a conflicting policy. This can help to ensure GPO takes precedence even if the blue team has written a policy that will remove our changes. Now you can right click on your policy and select edit. Let's get back to our group policy management editor under user configuration. Let's get and select edit. Oh, let's go back. Let's see what we have so far. Okay, is it user configuration? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, policies, Windows settings, scripts, all that fun stuff. Okay. Policies, Windows settings, scripts, log on and log off. This is where we're going to be able to set our script. We're going to add a browse. We're going to store to where we navigate to where we stored our scripts at. Oh, I'm doing this wrong. Hold up, y'all. Oh, right click properties, gotcha. And then add. I was in the right spot. I just didn't click add. Where do we store our stuff at? Okay. So we're going to grab our batch file, right? Yeah, select your batch file. That's what I was thinking. Click open. I don't think we would add any parameters. Okay, plan. Okay, it shows that every time one of the admins, tier 2, 1, or 0, logs into a machine, we'll get a callback. In order to simulate this, let's reset the password for one of the tier 1 admin accounts and authenticate to a server. Use any of the techniques you've learned in the previous AD rooms to either reset the password for one of the tier 1 admins. Once done, remember to start your MSF multi-handler, and let's test it out by RDPing into THM server 1 or THM server 2. Using your tier 1 administrator creds, RDP into one of the servers if you give it a minute. Okay. Okay, we could do this a few different ways. We could just keep using what we have here. So if we go to File, add our snapnin, and we can grab our Active Directory users and computers. Go yes, yes. And we could actually just pull up the group on here is what I'm thinking. If we, oh, there it is. So if we take like a, we'll do a tier 1 admin, and we go to properties. Let's see who's all a member in here. So who do we have here? T1 underscore Angela Richardson. Well, we'll go down the list. So T1 Jake Scott. That sounds like a good person. So I think if we find, yeah, that's fine. And we should be able to reset the password. Yep, that's what I was thinking. You can just do it directly from MMC. Yeah, I can. I didn't even see your message. New password. Let's call it Hack Smarter. Hack Smarter. Account shouldn't be locked. It's unlocked. Yep. Oh, okay. We need to make it more complex. Fine. Hack Smarter. We'll do Hack Smarter 1337. Hack Smarter 1337. Oh my goodness. I'll make it more complex then. Password 123 caret key. Password 123 caret key. I typed in the chat because as soon as I need to use it, I'm going to say, wait, what did I set the password to again? Even though it's an easy password. That's how my memory is when I'm on stream. Okay. Okay. So we reset our password, and now we need a RDP. Can we SSH? We probably have to RDP because it's a logon script. Yeah, in my head, you have to RDP to get that to work. So let's RDP into one of the servers. We should be able to. Oh. Oh, we just started the TCP handler. Okay. So let's just go to THM server 1, 88.201. Is that what it was? 201, right? 88.201. Oh, shoot. What was his name? Jake something? Jake Scott? Jake something? Frick. I told you guys, my memory's terrible on here. Jake Scott. Okay, I was right. Password 123 caret key. And remember, we sleep it for 20 seconds so the user will log in. It'll sleep for 20 seconds and we should get a shell back. Now we sit back and wait. ctemp to see if the script copied. That's a good idea. We want 201, right? Shoot, it didn't. If not, you can run gp update force, then sign out and log back in. Did it too fast. I think group policy updates, is it every 15 minutes or something, or depending on the group policy? Okay. So let's just sign out is important, else we won't generate a login event. Can I, so click your user icon, then sign out. So you have to sign out. Okay, that makes sense. Because we need to have the login script to run, and it will run as the user context. I see. Do we still have that open? Frick. Am I typing his name wrong? T1_Jake.Scott. T1 no, yep, I am typing his name wrong. I'm telling you guys, it's getting too late. Shoot, it's not. I did something wrong, but I'm too tired to figure out what it is. Think through. We put it on our one server. I mean, I thought I did everything right. Let's go look back at our script. I think it froze. Oh, this one's still good. Okay. No errors detected during computer policy. A fast link was detected. But he says login scripts can be temperamental. You at least don't need the callback to finish the room. Because what Amoeba Man's thinking is it might be the other GPO and admin directory that's conflicting. If so, just delete that one. Which I don't think it is. I think it would show that we have a conflict. Or show that we have an error. But we don't need that to finish the room. Scroll down to see what happened if your script executed. So if we scroll down, we want to get to our logon scripts. Here's some test stuff. Test GPO. Apply GPOs. Default domain. Deny GPOs. I don't think my script even executed. If I go to this RDP session froze up. Yeah, I don't see it being applied either. I probably did something wrong, but it is 12:15, y'all. I have to get to bed. I'll probably come back to this offline just to fully finish it, but let's just go through here. What it should do is obviously pop back a reverse TCP handler. If you just close your RDP session, it only performs a disconnect, which means it would not. Yeah, so make sure you sign out. Now that we know that our persistence is working, it's time to make sure blue team can't simply remove our persistence. Go back to the MMC windows, click on your policy, and then click on delegation. And mine froze up. Oh? Is it just this that froze? Hey, we got back now. This person's probably done, right? Let's try that. Let's try this one more time. So I deleted the other GPO. We're going to sign off. Reconnect. T1, Jake, Scott, password, 123, caret key. Scroll. Shoot. Still didn't get it. I had to have done something wrong. Well, it's too late. I'll come back offline and figure it out. What am I supposed to do next? By default, all administrators have the ability to edit GPOs. Let's remove these permissions. Also, we're delegating enterprise domain controller. Okay, so right click. Was it, wait, what am I doing? Oh, removing permissions from the admins to be able to edit the GPOs. I see. Amiibo Man said it's okay. It might be some other stuff that got changed in the network. Yeah, maybe from other people moving through stuff. So what are we doing here? So admins and delegation. Difficult properties. No. What am I doing? Oh, on my GPO policy. Do I need to right click my GPO policy? Click on your policy, click on delegation. Okay, I see. Right click on enterprise domain controllers. Properties. I broke something. Expand admins to see your GPO. I'll right click it that way. I got you. Delegation here. Enterprise is it enterprise admins or enterprise domain controllers? Enterprise admin. Oh, domain controllers. Edit settings, delete, modify maybe. Oops. Gosh, I am going downhill, y'all. And then click on all other groups except authenticated users and click remove. So stops anyone from messing with your GPO. You should be left with delegation. Looks like this. Click on advanced, remove the created owners from the permissions. I see. So I was really digging in deep. By default, all authenticated users must have the ability to read the policy, which makes sense because they have to apply it. It's required because otherwise policy not be read. Yep. If we did not have our login script, we could also remove this permission to make sure that almost no one would be able to read our policy. We could replace authenticated users with domain computers to ensure that computers can still read and apply the policy, but prevent any user from reading the policy. Let's do this to test. Remember, this can result in you not getting a shell callback upon authentication, since a user will not be able to read the PowerShell script. So make sure to test your shell. Well, my shell doesn't work anyway, so click add, type domain computers. Okay. I'm going to make this to the side. Okay. Add. Whoops, let's scroll down. You get unspecified error because we can no longer read it. Inaccessible. By performing this test, we can show that even with the highest level permissions, the blue team would not be able to remove our GPO unless they impersonate the machine account of a domain controller. This makes it extra hard to firstly discover, and even if they discover it, it would be incredibly hard to remove. We don't even have the required permissions to interface with our policy anymore, so no one will have to stay there until a network. So one will have to stay there until a network reset is performed. You can verify that the GPO is still applied by RTP into one of the THM servers. Never applied for me, but it's all good. What MC snapping can be used to configure GPOs? Group policy management. What sub GPO is used to grant users and groups access to local groups? What sub GPO is used to grant users and groups access to local groups on the host? All right. What sub GPO is used to grant users and groups access to local groups on the hosts that the GPO applies to? That question. What sub GPO is used to grant users and groups access to local groups on the hosts that the GPO applies to? Sub GPO. Authenticated users? No. Access to local groups on the host. I'm confused by the question. But it's probably because I'm just tired. What sub GPO is used to grant users and groups access to local groups on the host? It's not like default domain. Oh, you did this for exploiting AD. It is restricted groups AD. Oh, you're right. Because it says we did this. Let's scroll back up. This includes configurations such as membership to restricted groups, firewall, and AV. Restricted group membership. This could allow us administrative access to all hosts in the domain. That's right. So it's giving us access to all hosts in the domain. Got it. What tab is used to modify the security permissions that users and groups have on the GPO? Delegation, right? Look at that, y'all. There are several different ways that we can persist in AD to become a termite. Some of these techniques persist better than others. Some I can't get my shell to come back. In order to ensure that your persistence cannot be removed by the blue team, you will have to think creatively about your persistence. And I can just imagine like the amount of practice one has to do before this makes sense, at least creatively. Like I can do it somewhat if I follow a guide, but being an actual red team exercise, like, gosh, it would be difficult to think, okay, to automatically come to your mind, here's how I persist. You almost have to build that muscle memory, right? Practice, 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 practice. And that'll be kind of my goal once I finish this up. Furthermore, you should not wait until the full domain compromise to deploy persistence. After each round of lateral movement in priv-esc, persistence should be deployed. Additional techniques. In this network, we covered several techniques that may be used to persist in AD. This is by no means an exhaustive list. Here's a list of persistence techniques that also deserve mention. And Amoeba Man said also do this on a time limit since the blue team is hunting you. Yeah, man, I'm not ready for that. One day, hopefully I'll be at that level, but I'll keep practicing. Skeleton keys. I'm gonna have to come back and read through all these blogs. Using Mimikatz, we can deploy a skeleton key, which I maybe did before on some lab. Mimikatz created a default password that will work for any account in the domain. Normal passwords will still work, making it hard to know that this attack has taken place. The default password can be used to impersonate any account in the domain. Directory service restore mode. Never heard of that. Domain controllers have an internal break class administrator account. Okay, maybe I have. DSRM account. This password is set when the server is promoted to a DC and is seldom changed. This password is used in cases of emergencies to recover the DC. An attacker can extract the password using Mimikatz and use this password to gain persistent admin access to domain controllers in the environment. Malicious Security Support Provider, SSP. Exploiting the SSP interface, it is possible to add new SSPs. We can add Mimikatz Mimulib as an SSP that would log all creds of authentication attempts to a file. We can specify a network location for logging, which would allow Mimulib to send us creds as users authenticate to the compromised host, providing persistence. Computer accounts. The passwords for machine accounts are normally rotated every 30 days. However, we can alter the password to a machine account, which would stop the automatic rotation. Together with this, we can grant the machine account administrative access to other machines. This will allow us to use the computer account as a normal account, with the only sign of persistence being the fact that the account has administrative rights over other hosts, which is often normal behavior in AD, so this may go undetected. Cool. We should also note that this room focused on persistence techniques in AD. Several local persistence techniques can follow for persistence on hosts. If these hosts are domain joined, it will allow persistence in AD as well. AD persistence. AD persistence can be a pain to defend against. In certain cases, the persistence can be so deeply rooted that complete domain rebuild is required. However, there are a couple of things we can do to detect deployed persistence. An anomalous account login events are the most common alert for persistence. Anytime creds break the tiering model, it can be as a result of persistence. That makes sense. For each of the persistent techniques mentioned, specific detection rules can be written, such as cases when a machine account's password changes, ACLs are permissively updated, or new GPOs are created. The best defense against persistence is to protect privileged resources. Although low privilege access can be used to deploy persistence, the truly scary techniques only become available once an attacker has acquired privileged access to the domain. This concludes the AD module. We've been doing it 2 hours straight tonight almost. We have learned about the basics of AD, how to breach an AD environment, enumerate it, perform exploitation, and deeply root ourselves in with persistence like termites. This module is just an introduction. There is still a lot to learn. Man, I agree with that. I have so much to learn. Time to spread your wings and do some of your own exploration, which we will. I understand AD persistence. I don't know if I fully understand it. I feel like I can't hit complete, but I'll hit complete. Boom. Can I see my badge? Oh! He couldn't generate my link for me. Is it adversary? There we go, guys. I completed all Active Directory networks, and what I've learned is I have so much to learn. So we will continue on this learning journey. A special thank you to Amoeba Man for making this possible. Let me get caught up on the chat real quick. Belittle Me said, where do you plan to be career-wise in 5 years? I want to ask in the mock was a question Erwin forgot to ask. I probably will still be in my current role. I work right now as an analyst doing blue team type stuff. I enjoy it. My long-term goal is some type of red teaming or pen testing role, which is why I'm doing this kind of learning. I don't think I'm at that level yet, not close to that level. I'm working on the OSCP right now. Hopefully I'll be able to get that within the next year from now at the latest, but my long-term goal is some type of red team role. Hunterbot said, how fast do you think a good blue team should be? And Amoeba Man said, very difficult to answer, depends on the attacker's skill level. We simulate threats at the level of APTs, which means speed is no longer the biggest factor. More that they need to make 100% sure you are kicking us out fully. But good orgs can do proper investigation once hands-on keyboard actions are found in about 24 hours. Makes sense. As a good question. Awesome. Well, you guys are my only friends, so I'm sharing this with you. I completed it, and we'll keep moving. Do I get any cool ranks? Oh, we got some new rooms. What's Olympus? My first CTF. Medium. Maybe we'll hack into this one at our next stream. Check out Olympus. But all right, guys. It is late, later than I ever stream. I'm gonna be tired tomorrow, but thank you guys for joining. I will be out of commission now until I think I'll be back to a regular schedule starting next Tuesday. I'll be streaming Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we'll keep learning together on this journey. We'll keep stumbling through, and maybe we'll learn something in these streams. So thank you guys for joining. Have an awesome night. Amoeba Man, have a good day since I know it's morning for you, and I will catch you guys later.